Everybody, welcome to this very special episode of Sideline. Warning, we are going to be recapping everything WrestleMania 36. But before we jump into all of that, just some housekeeping. Christine, not a huge professional wrestling fan. I think that she's on record to say that's one of the few things she ain't into. That's the exact quote. So we've tagged out Christine, and we've brought on one of my very good friends, a man who I've been able to share my love of wrestling with, as he's one of the few guys I know that is always down to get into any wrestling shenanigans. Major Duncan of YouTube and Twitch fame. Major, what is up, my friend?
Hey, what's up, Ryan? Thanks for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Yes, but before we hop into that, plug your shit.
Okay, so I run a YouTube channel, or I don't run it, but I'm a part of a YouTube channel called Friends Without Benefits. We play video games, and I have a Twitch stream as well on twitch.tv/FWAB_Major, where I play video games. So if you like video games, you can follow me.
Yes, Major likes video games. He also likes wrestling. We're going to get into it. WrestleMania, the only WrestleMania too big for one night, as WWE likes to tell us. WrestleMania went the Wrestle Kingdom route, split into two nights, night one, night two. We're going to take it night by night. Obviously, it was a different affair with everything going on in the world right now. But before we go match by match, let's just start with night one, logically. What were your top-line takeaways? What did you love, hate, anything like that?
Overall, I thought night one was okay. I wasn't like super blown away by anything. I thought the Boneyard match was funny, and I thought it was like kind of cool. That's pretty much it. I actually really enjoyed the ladder match. I thought the ladder match was really, really good, but that makes sense when you see who's in it. But other than that, like I didn't really feel like a lot of the matches were super duper great. But yeah, I was still entertained thoroughly.
I think WWE, I don't know whether this was intentional or not, but definitely we've seen with Wrestle Kingdom, they used the two-night format. Night one is very much like, hey, you're at Wrestle Kingdom, that's great, and we'll throw you one or two title matches, but it's not really the night for what would be the main event type level matches. I think WrestleMania was the same thing. Edge Orton was on night two. Obviously, the Firefly Funhouse match. Lesnar and McIntyre, the main event, night two. So you put everything there. Charlotte Flair, night two as well. So the heavy hitters that WWE likes to lean on in the big situations, all on night two. But I think they ended up doing a pretty decent job of balancing out, like, night two had the really heavy hitters and some matches I really didn't care about, and night one had all the, like, middle matches. So as far as it goes, it's their first time with the two-night format, and I think they did an okay job balancing the card.
Yeah, I thought so too. I think the one thing I was kind of disappointed in was if I look at the matches on paper, it looks like it's gonna be like really good matches, but I wasn't super like what's the word? I wasn't like enthralled with anything. Everything was definitely like TV match at least, but really didn't exceed that.
Do we think that having no crowd may be a reason for that? I feel like it's really hard for performers in a profession that's totally built on playing to the crowd. I get that they had almost a month to kind of get acclimated at the PC and figure it out before WrestleMania, but it's still really hard to, for a lot of these performers, you're trying to put in the match of your life. This is trying to be the best moment of your career to date, and you have to do it instead of in front of 80,000 fans, in front of a yelling Michael Cole.
Yeah, I think that it was definitely hard, especially for a lot of the not so great workers. I think it's really easy for someone who, well, I wouldn't say easy. I think if if you can't work a crowd, then it's going to be you're going to have a hard job. But I think workers that were able to construct a good story even without a crowd to play off of definitely was there. But when you have matches like Baron Corbin versus Elias, it's gonna probably fall flat, and there's no crowd that's gonna save that.
Yeah, for sure. So let's hop into it. We're gonna go match by match. Let's start though. Night one, Rob Gronkowski from the Patriots was signed on to be the host of WrestleMania. This was kind of the first time we got to see him, other than his really cheesy introduction. Before we go to the matches, I just blanket Gronk and Mojo, thumbs up, thumbs down, meh.
Oh, I loved it.
You loved it?
I love them. I think they're
Really?
so funny. I was actually super entertained by Gronk and Mojo. I think, but
Interesting.
I also love Mojo so much.
I like Mojo. I hate Gronk. I think
You
that
hate Gronk?
so when he was with the Patriots and doing all these antics, I thought it was hilarious. But I've seen him. I don't know if it was NFL Live or Fox Sports or someone brought him on to try and be an analyst, and it felt like he came in with like scripted one-liners. He was going to try and shoehorn in, and he came off as super cheesy, and it all felt really flat. And to me, the exact same thing happened here. You can tell he doesn't have a lot of experience acting in the way that you kind of have to in WWE with your character work.
Yeah.
It came off as overly cheesy. Mojo did a lot. I thought Mojo really, really tried, and Mojo did a great job. And this is not I think Gronk can still come around to whatever they want him to do. But for WrestleMania to roll that out, he's not the guy I would have trusted with WrestleMania. And for his sake, I think that having a crowd absent probably helped him, because if the crowd was kind of just like, what the hell? I'm like, what's a guy like that who's used to being loved gonna react to, you know?
Yeah, I think definitely after watching the first opening bit, I think it was pretty clear that was not their first take. I think that they probably had to run through a few. I think I don't know. I do think I have a lot of like high expectations for Gronk going forward. I think he's gonna play a decent role in whatever production they're gonna use him for.
I'm looking forward to the year-long R-Truth Gronk feud that's going to be the backstage segment bathroom break at pay-per-views to come.
Unironically, this is the most legitimacy the 24/7 title has seen, in my opinion.
Not Rob Stone?
No. No.
Well, you have a bona fide Super Bowl champion, the best tight end in NFL history. You have a good case.
I mean, who's he? I mean, Melina? You know, Melina's a stack up to Gronk in terms of legitimacy.
I don't know. You got R-Truth, who's now the 30-time Intercontinental TV World Champion, European
7-Eleven.
Yeah, but you're probably right there. That's a fair point. And Gronk,
I think somewhere in my notes I said Gronk chasing the 24/7 title has been the greatest 24/7 title chase booked in its title's history.
I was really, for all my hating on Gronk having the tension with Mojo on night one, only for him to win it night two. I love that.
After he did his super sick backward trust fall into a million people.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Very trusting. So let's get into the matches. To kick it off on night one, you had Cesaro and Drew Gulak. I've never got that down, never will. Sue me. So there's your kickoff, and I think this is, as far as WrestleMania kickoffs go, I thought this was pretty good.
Yeah, two good workers, pretty much what you would expect. They probably were told not to burn it down because I'm sure these two could, but I think they both were there, which is kind of like a pretty big perk when it comes to booking matches. You don't want to have to get too many people in the building. So they were already booked for later, so it was good to just put them on now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of trust in being able to throw them out there and say, hey, we need you guys to get the crowd acclimated to, or get the fans at home acclimated to there being no live crowd. I think that both this match and the match we'll talk about next, the women's tag title match, I think both sets of workers did a really great job of just being like, hey, WrestleMania, it's still a big deal. I'm sorry there's no fans. It sucks that this is what we're doing, but we're just going to go out and perform at a high level, and we can show you that you can enjoy the wrestling without the fan reactions.
Yeah.
So, and that carries us straight into the first championship match of WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross take on the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag titles. And I got to say, I was pleasantly surprised with this match. I'm not a huge Kabuki Warriors fan. Which is really weird because I really love Strong Style in Japan. I really love Kairi Sane. I've never been someone that got Asuka, which is probably a me thing, but never really loved Asuka and never really loved the Kabuki Warriors. But I thought everyone, all parties were great in this.
Yeah, I thought I had pretty low expectations for this match because I wasn't too familiar with the build, and this match seemed. I feel like I've seen this match before, so I wasn't like I didn't have super high expectations, and I thought it was fine. I think it was like a couple high spots more than a TV match, but I thought everyone played their role pretty well.
Gotta love Nikki Cross and Michael Cole before the match, though. Just, hi, Mike.
Oh yeah.
This match was. Thankfully, after this match, I don't think I noticed it again until night 2. But when you would cut to the replays and you just hear
Yeah.
Michael Cole not on mic yelling in the background, that was, yeah.
I mean, you gotta, from a production standpoint, you have to like tell your commentators to fill that dead air or
Yeah.
something, or just mute the replay. But I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was weird, but again, it's just one of the unique circumstances of hopefully Money in the Bank is the last pay-per-view we see under these circumstances, and hopefully rolling forward it's back to normal, obviously. More important things than wrestling and what the product ends up like going on in the world, but it just made for a weird dynamic, but I didn't notice it much after this match, so kudos to them, I guess, for making it like, hey, like once again, this is the norm. It's how it's going to be. We're still going to put on an awesome match. And unfortunately, King Corbin and Elias following them could not do the same thing.
Yeah. Before I do want to say one more thing on the tag match. I was really shocked because after Bliss got the pin, and the commentators put over Nikki super hard, which I thought was really confusing. It's like, if you're gonna have the commentators put Nikki over super hard, just have her get the pin. Like, does Bliss really need to, like? I think Bliss is already pretty legit, in her standing and on the card. I don't know why she had to get the pin there.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the way the match like flowed, because they had that little finish where, like, I forgot who it was, but someone came off the top and hit Nikki, and then they rolled over, and then Bliss hit her move. And so, like, it was kind of like tit for tat type thing. But I don't know. That was like my biggest takeaway from the match.
yeah. The Bliss cross dynamic has been odd to me because, like, initially, like, Alexa kind of took Nikki under her wing and all this stuff, and I'm just like, Nikki was always like, yes, her character's unhinged, but I always thought she was like a legit contender. Like, she always performed well in the matches she was in.
Yeah.
I like, the only knock on her, I guess, her character wise, is she was often like the 5th person they'd throw into a 5-way match. So she like picked up a lot of losses that way. But I'm like, I didn't really feel like, unless you want to like normalize Nikki Cross's character a little bit so that she can go forward and have some more meaningful stuff. I don't know, but the whole thing has been weird, but I like the pairing. It's been a pairing that didn't know if it would work at first, but I've enjoyed it. So
yeah, and it gives her something to do, which is good.
Yes, absolutely. So real quick, we got to talk about it. It's a match that happened. King Corbin and Elias. Why? I don't understand. Like, Elias is great on Raw because you have to fill 3 hours, and you can't do wall-to-wall wrestling. You can't do wall-to-wall just backstage segments and stuff. So Elias is kind of a good guy to walk that line. Baron Corbin, he's had all the chances in the world. Obviously, Vince really likes him. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I think
He's
it's
boring.
because he gets booed.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, that's kind of it. Like, no one really gets booed nowadays, and Corbin gets booed. I don't know why they thought this match like should be even put, like, this match should have been pre-show.
Yes.
Like, these are two not very good workers. Like, putting it bluntly, they're both not very good workers. Elias is very much a character like player. Like, he's not known for his in-ring stuff. It's because he has really good like mic, like he's really good on the mic. And Baron Corbin gets pushed. I'm not sure why he does, but he gets booed, so he gets pushed. And they just had a very below average match.
Elias belongs in the Artist Collective.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he should be in a stable where he can be entertaining and be ringside muscle, be one of those guys that gets thrown into the inevitable 6-man tag matches, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And maybe putting him with someone like Shin and Sami Zayn, those guys, maybe he can still be working on his in-ring stuff because he's just not quite there. I don't know if it's his fault. In NXT, when he was the Drifter, I mean, they didn't really give him a chance to shine on camera as a wrestler, which they just hot-shotted him to the main roster, and he's a great personality, but you can't pair him with a guy like King Corbin and expect a great match to happen because neither of those guys can carry a match. Both of them struggle, frankly, to put on decent matches with good workers. So I don't know why you thought putting them together it was going to be anything other than a palate cleanser. I guess that's what they wanted.
Yeah, maybe. I will say this match made me pretty mad because the babyface. I'm old-fashioned, and the babyface cheap shots the heel with a guitar shot, and then cheats to win. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I will say though, the storytelling wasn't bad. Like they actually worked over. Corbin did a really good job of working over Elias's shoulder, and Elias was targeting Corbin's ribs, I think, or something. They were targeting body parts really well, which I was actually shocked that they were able to like tell a good story, even though the work was not very good.
I hate to stray too far into this because this is pure speculation, but when the Edge and Christian podcast was still going, and they'd have on a bunch of wrestlers as guests, you could tell that there were a lot of people in the industry who grew up huge wrestling fans, had that connection, things like that. When Elias came on the pod, I did not get that at all. I didn't really get it. I didn't get him. It doesn't shock me that in an Elias match, the babyface is cheap shotting, all these things. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it doesn't really shock me that his attention to detail, it's just a big struggle for me because I think both of us are very nitpicky when we watch it of, hey, like, these are some things that you don't break these things, please. They're just a few things.
Yeah, I agree. It's a structure thing. And and I'm not saying that baby faces can't do heel things. Obviously, that people like baby faces have done that before. Becky Lynch does that and does it successfully. But when you are working in the mid card and this feud isn't very good and the build wasn't very good either, I feel like when you're blurring the line, it makes it hard for the viewer to take a stand on who you want to root for, especially because I can't get behind the work because the work isn't that good.
This was just flawed from the start. I struggle with, at WrestleMania, the premise coming into the match is that Corbin cheap shot at Elias in, was it the Go Home episode of Raw? I don't even know when that happened. And Corbin's going to walk down to the middle of the ring at WrestleMania and just demand a 10-second count out or like a no-show forfeit or whatever. And I'm just like, guys, this is WrestleMania. Like, we know that a match is going to happen. This is not the place to get cute with that stuff. And I don't necessarily know if that's on them, if that's on creative or what, but I was just like, this is not the time or the place for this specific angle to try and kick off a match.
Yeah, I feel like they just needed to fill the match. I think that they had time to fill, and these were two people that are more or less dependable. They've both been working pretty consistently over the years, and they both have gotten their fair pushes, so they were okay with just sending them out there, but did not make for a great match.
Yep, but we'll just move on because I think we've trashed this one about all we can. Sorry, Corbin. Sorry, Elias. If you want to come on and discuss, feel free. Welcome. But we move on in the night to a match that I was disappointed with. Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler going at it for the Raw Women's title. Becky is riding quite the title reign. It's hard to look down and just be like, oh crap, she's held the title for what, over a year now?
Over a year, yeah.
So Becky
longest
Lynch,
reigning Raw Women's Champion of all time.
Yeah. So Becky Lynch, the man, I gotta say, she goes over here, and I'm a huge Becky fan. I love Becky. Was so elated for her initial push. I want her to lose the strap so that she can alter her character a little bit because the man character is just getting stale for me.
Yeah, she's kind of getting the Cena factor where she seems a little untouchable.
Yeah, and I just don't know if here's the thing though, and this has been, Cena's had much larger periods of time to do this, but we've seen different phases of Cena almost. Like, it's all the same, never give up, all that stuff, but we've seen different stuff. With Becky, the man has been 100% like the exact same person almost the whole time, to the point that I can probably tell you how the promo is going to go, and I'm just bored.
Yeah.
And it's just weird because Becky's like one of my favorite wrestlers. Like, you know this. I'm a bigger Becky fan than most, and I'm just I'm ready for something new. And I think this really hurt Shayna Baszler too, because
Yeah,
like
definitely.
she was this unstoppable force, and now all of a sudden, okay, you've given your best shot to Becky. Now Becky's gonna probably have to drop the strap to someone who I would rank below Shayna if I were doing a power ranking. So I'm just like, it's this weird chase, and it just really I don't know where to go from here with Shayna.
Yeah, I was also pretty thoroughly disappointed with this match. And not even from a story standpoint, like even from a work standpoint, I thought it like wasn't. I expected more. It was definitely the best work we had seen so far, but when you're with Becky and Shayna, I thought we were going to see some really good stuff, but we really didn't. I mean, like, also the commentary I thought was so bad for this match. I don't know why. I don't know why this match they decided to be super bad. Like, there was a moment when Shayna put Becky in an armbar, and then she puts her in Becky's version of the armbar, and they call it the disarmer, like it's a completely different move. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I feel like they're kind of making me feel stupid.
She's gonna
Like
beat her
they,
with her own move.
it's just, they're
The
like, oh, the
disrespect.
disarmor. They're like the disarmor, the variation of the armbar, and it's like, thank you, Michael. Did not know about that.
I enjoyed the
Uh,
pun. Thanks, bro.
and also, like, Becky didn't go over strong. She went over in the same way we've seen Shayna get beat every other time. She puts in her rear naked choke, and they do the back flippy thing, and then Bana comes up looking shocked and disappointed, and then it's just, I don't know. I mean, they're gonna rematch for it, I bet, and I bet that's gonna be a stip. But honestly, the thing is that this is building to a first blood match, which I'm sure they're not gonna do, with the whole biting thing.
Yeah,
But I mean, I feel like there has to be a rematch. I just don't know what the stipulation's gonna be.
yeah, and I guess call. I don't know what it is with me, but I really don't like when there's a rematch coming out of a WrestleMania match. I feel like they build WrestleMania as like, this is the end of the season, and then when you go to the Raw after Mania, I don't know how many times Michael Cole is told in his ear to say like, this is like the reset. Anything can happen. Storylines can go different ways, stuff like that. And
Yeah,
then you decide to choose like a third of your card to just continue on into Money in the Bank. And I'm just like, okay, well, did WrestleMania actually matter if we're just having a blow off? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
yeah,
WrestleMania should be final results. They should be huge moments that matter. And we shouldn't be seeing anyone wrestle the same wrestler going into Money in the Bank.
yeah. I completely agree. This match did not feel like a conclusion at all. They're definitely going to rematch, and I hope that the match. I mean, I'm not disappointed necessarily that they're going to work again. I bet the match will be good, or I hope at least it'll be good. Because if it's not, then there's going to be some serious chemistry issues between the two, and they may have to go somewhere different. But I have high expectations for them going forward.
I just feel like the rosters are big enough at this point. If you decide that this is going to be a match for Mania, you should be able to keep them apart a month and a half before and a month and a half after. Like, you have
Yeah,
a roster big enough for that. You have a whole creative department that is, their title is creative. They can come up with new and creative ways to make them find each other again here down the line. You can haul them off till SummerSlam. Like, I just don't get why it shouldn't be that hard, I feel like. But that's just my biggest nitpick from this, is that you definitely came up being like, well, we're going to see this again at Money in the Bank.
I wonder if just having a limited roster. I mean, maybe with the whole pandemic going on, maybe that's why they decided to not blow it off, just because they know that they're here to work, uh, and they don't know who is willing to come in and who's not based on the circumstances.
Right.
So I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. But anyway, this is probably the big disappointment of the night for me, just because I've come to expect a lot out of these two. And like you said, this just felt like any TV match that you could have rolled out there, and
Yeah, I agree.
it's not a WrestleMania. But moving on, Sami Zayn, the Artist Collective, against Daniel Bryan. Sami Zayn retains his Intercontinental title. Daniel Bryan finally able to get his hands on Sami Zayn. And coming out of this, I was reading a lot of places. A lot of people were down on this match. I actually really enjoyed it.
I wasn't a huge fan because I thought I was going to get Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan, and I was expecting like a match, but this really didn't. It really wasn't very much wrestling, which I was kind of disappointed. I was really hoping for good wrestling, and it was a lot of just like heel work and just which was good. I'm like Sammy's heel work here was just phenomenal. Like the match starts and Daniel's in the middle of the ring and he starts walking towards Sami, and Sami tells the ref to back him up because he doesn't want to. Sami says, "We can't start the match because I'm already in the corner and that puts me at a disadvantage, so we need to restart the match." And Sami starts getting out of the ring and Daniel's like, "Fine." Daniel backs up and lets him get in the center. Sami gets in the center. They ring the bell. Sami Zayn immediately hits the mat and rolls out. I laughed. I thought it was such good work. I thought it was so good. But like it just got a little too much. Like eventually it just got a little. Sami started running away too much, and I eventually started kind of getting bored. And yeah, I was hoping for some more wrestling, but I thought it was still very good.
See,
and Mojo and Gronk chanting yes was my highlight of WrestleMania so far.
Mojo and Gronk chanting yes was incredible. Gronk being looking a little bit confused as to why he's chanting yes, but still
okay.
The good soldier carrying on. I love that. I actually kind of dug that, and I get the character work nitpick. I kind of dug that. I thought that was just an interesting way to, with no crowd, you're not going to have huge moments. And also there's little point for a lot of the rest holds and things. These are two guys, though, that don't need those. I agree. I would have liked to see some more chain wrestling on the mat. But I enjoyed kind of the character work as opposed to putting us through 50 rest holds. Just doing some character stuff. It's a unique situation where every word that they say amplified, because obviously there's no crowd noise to go over it, anything like that. You can hear it very clearly. So I thought it was a good opportunity to kind of advance that for Sami, just because I think everyone knows both these guys can go. So obviously you'd love to have a match of the year candidate, but I don't feel like anything's going to get taken away from Sami or Daniel. So furthering the storyline, furthering their characters for future storylines, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like, okay, so Daniel goes into his offense and he is just murdering Sami Zayn. Like these are the stiffest shots, and honestly, like it felt double turning to me. Like I started really feeling bad for Sami, and I was turning on Daniel a little bit because these were just really stiff shots, and like, and Sami just like wasn't really doing much to defend himself. And that, I don't know. My biggest problem with the match layout was that there was not a lot of give and take. It was just Daniel Bryan, it starts off with Sami running around, and then Cesaro and Shinsuke are there to stop Daniel from chasing him, and then Gulak goes and takes him out, and then Daniel Bryan just obliterates Sami Zayn for like minutes, and then all of a sudden Sami hits his move and wins, and it's like, okay, I just wish it was not so one-sided.
Yeah, but I kind of thought that played into the storyline, though, is because Sami's been evading Daniel, basically refusing to get in the ring with him for weeks. So finally, now that Daniel gets his hands on Sami, he really, the frustration's building. He makes it count, gets all of his shots in, but then Sami, the cunning heel, escapes. I thought it was fine. And if you weren't going to give these guys another 10 minutes to put on just one of the absolute classics, like I kind of preferred it this way, but
that's fair. I can see it like that. That is true. They were not given enough time to work a match that I would have wanted them to work. So it definitely makes sense.
Which I didn't get because I felt like one of the criticisms we've had of Mania the past few years is that it is too long and it's just exhausting. But I feel like when you split it up into two nights, they could have given an extra 30 minutes to the show as a whole, and I don't feel like I would have been gypped or anything like that, especially with how the night finished. Like, not to get ahead of ourselves, but the Boneyard match being so different, I think that it didn't matter how much wrestling you had saw up until that point, because it feels so different. You're getting such a different presentation, different product. I think that I don't know why they cut it short almost. Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I don't know if like Sammy hasn't been really wrestling recently. Like he's been mostly doing like managerial work, and then he won the title in that 3-on-1. And so I'm starting to think if maybe he's hurt or like maybe he's just worn down so he can't. I mean, Sammy's been going for a while, so
Yeah,
I mean, he may be coming up on the end of his time wrestling, but I don't know if that's playing into the fact that they're not getting a lot of time, or if he's doing a lot of, not wrestling and just a lot of selling and a lot of just heel stuff.
yeah. But just interesting. I think it could just be as simple as first year that WWE has split WrestleMania into 2 nights. So one of those things that they didn't realize is they could have gone a little bit longer on night one. Could be as simple as that. But I
Yeah.
guess only time will tell with that. But let's move on to God. I didn't expect a ton from this match coming in just because I was bummed that not all the tag teams were present, that it was at half force. But the ladder
Yeah.
match between Jomo, John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, and which Uso? Jimmy Uso?
As Jimmy Uso.
Yes. Uh, I lost this week's edition of which Uso is that. I'm O for
Dang.
lifetime. I'm O for lifetime on getting Jimmy and Jay right. But this match, a ton of fun, I thought.
Oh yeah, this match was awesome. Three super talented workers who know what they're doing. And obviously Kofi and Jimmy, they've been working together forever, so they have chemistry. So their chemistry is off the charts. John Morrison is a vet who's worked everywhere and knows everything. So you can slot him in anywhere and he'll be able to hold his own. And even I think he did way more than that. I thought he worked very well in
I
this match.
I think that Morrison gets a ton of credit because I am exhausted of the New Day and the Usos.
Yeah.
Which is weird. They put on absolute great matches, which is why they keep getting paired together. But we have seen the New Day and the Usos in about every way you can imagine. And I'm over, like, I've seen enough. It's one of those things that you can stop making Fast and Furious movies. I've seen enough of them. We can stop with the New Day Uso matchup. I've seen enough. So I think that's a huge credit to John Morrison that throughout this match, I was just like, I love this. I'd watch this again. I'd watch another blow off of this. Just a ton of fun. And the way that they ended it, I thought was nice and unique that almost by accident, not for John, but accident for Kofi and Jimmy to just be like, oh, crap. Oh, crap. And I thought it was just unique. And anytime that you can take something as like, yes, we've seen tons of ladder matches. We've seen tons of singles ladder matches. They built a whole pay-per-view around them. We've seen tons of great tag team ladder matches. Now it's a new spin on the tag team, but it's just one dude from each team and a different finish. I was just like, anytime that you can do something like that and you save it for WrestleMania, props, because that was a ton of fun. Loved it.
Yeah, I thought I think the highest positive point for this match was execution. I think every move went off great. It looked good. In my notes, I have a list of spots that they did that looked seamless and great. Like they made the ladder bridge. The way they made the ladder bridge was super smooth. It was like super seamless. I loved it. My biggest knock on the match was Jimmy. There was one spot. It actually isn't on the workers. It's on Michael Cole. Jimmy Uso pushes a ladder over and misses John Morrison. John, like, it's actually a super funny spot because John, like, he like winces and the ladder like goes over him and he just pokes Jimmy in the eye. And Michael Cole goes, "Yep, there's no disqualifications. Anything goes." And I'm like, there's 4 ladders in the ring right now, dude. Like, are you serious? Like, do you really feel like, oh man, I really hope they didn't get DQ'd from that eye poke. Oh my gosh, I hate Michael Cole sometimes.
That's Executive Vice President of Announcing Michael Cole to you.
That's right, I forgot.
Sir.
That work got him promoted.
His promotion. Yeah, this was not Cole's best WrestleMania.
No, it wasn't.
Put it simply, I just feel like sometimes Michael Cole is best when the best version of Michael Cole we have ever gotten is when he was paired with CM Punk for the original NXT.
That was so good.
When everyone knew that Vince wasn't watching, no one cared, and Michael Cole got to have a personality. I feel like the bigger the moment, the more just watered down that I don't know if this is on Michael Cole or just like the number of producers in his ear, that he just gets watered down and very basic. and becomes Captain Obvious, and I'm just like, just let him have some edge. Like
we saw some shades of that when he was it was that first SmackDown episode with at the PAC, and he was with Triple H, and like they were so funny. And even when he was working with JBL for some of those like I thought Cole actually had some pretty good commentary stuff when he was with JBL, because him and JBL work well. They always have. So I thought it was pretty good. But overall, I think this was not the best Cole work.
The coal mine will not be happy with WrestleMania 36.
No, they will not.
But all right, next matchup, we've got Kevin Owens and Seth freaking Rollins. I guess he's no longer Seth freaking Rollins. He's the Monday Night Messiah, but old habits die hard. And I got to say, just some of the entrances fell flat. I thought Becky's was a big one that fell flat, of her basically like stepping out of the semi. And usually that's when we're so accustomed to the crowd roaring. So her standing in silence like took me all the way out of it. Seth Rollins coming out in his robe, obviously hearkening to the Messiah, turning around and just like having this weird smile and just like soaking it in, like he's just like, yes, you're booing me right now. Like I could hear the boos in my head. And I was just like, that's just a credit to like how Seth was able to play off the cameras and stuff. This match, this took me for a ride, bro.
Dude, I thought this match was really, really good. Like I this match shattered my expectations, and also I think this was the rare instance that not having a crowd actually made the match better. I thought the banter throughout the match was amazing between KO and Seth. I thought they worked really well together.
Yeah, and this match, I give them a ton of credit, because when the initial finish happened of Rollins hitting him with the ring bell, getting DQ'd, I was mad, pissed.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, what the hell, guys? This is WrestleMania. You are two of the best workers in this company, and we got this chicken shit. And then they restart the match, no DQ. And this is one of the few times that I've enjoyed a restarting of the match. I'm usually just like, if you're going to make it no DQ, I'd usually rather it be no DQ just from the jump and not have that break. But I thought the whole thing was really well done, because I was just so mad at it, and then just pleased, and then the spot off of the WrestleMania sign, all of it. I thought this is Kevin Owens being Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins being Seth Rollins. And I'm just happy that they went out there and obviously told them, like, hey, guys, we want you guys to go burn it down. Go for it.
Yeah. I thought they both worked incredibly well. It was a brutal match. They were giving it their all throughout the entire match. Like I said, the banter between them was so good, because they're on top of both of them being really good workers, and they're both underrated characters as well. I think they have really good character work. So I think overall it made for a really, really nice match.
Yeah, and it just makes a ton of sense, because we've seen a ton of the videos of Kevin Owens working house shows. There's always the one that sticks in my head is when Roman Reigns is in the headlock and he's on the mat. And he literally makes Roman laugh because some dude's heckling him, and Kevin's just like, so let's just run through it. My salary's this. I make this a week, and that's just merch. And he's like, and what do you make? And Roman's just like laughing. So I'm just like, this is a dude that has made his living off of just great crowd banner, things like that. So absolutely, no shock to me that his match is one that was able to take advantage of the more intimate setting more than others.
Yeah, I think this match might have been. I'm looking at it, and yeah, it's not. I don't think it was better than the ladder match, but I think it was definitely a close second. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. The ladder match was my 1. This match was my 2, and the Boneyard match was my 3rd for night 1. And I think that for as much as I said I love night 2, the ladder match and this match are probably in my top 5 for the whole. They're probably 2 and 3, honestly. Yeah. But for the whole thing.
Yeah, my 1 is my WrestleMania match is not. You're probably not going to agree with it. But I think these are 2 and 3 for sure. Cool. Overall, the entire WrestleMania weekend.
Was your number 1 Braun versus Goldberg?
No.
Okay.
No,
well, let's get into this really quick. Look, at this point, if anyone expects Goldberg to go more than 5 minutes, that's on you.
Yeah.
This was fine.
Yeah, we expected this. And we didn't want this match to be long either. Like, I'm glad this match didn't take that long. Like, that's all I have to say about it.
I'm still not sold on Braun as a worker. I've never been one that I haven't wanted to see the strap on Braun because I haven't seen it from Braun consistently enough. But he was good here. This was a great match of Clash of the Titans type thing, and we can move Braun on, and it's on Braun to show me that it deserves more than just being a transitional champion. I think his resume deserves having the title. I don't know if it
Yeah,
deserves him holding on to
and
it.
his support.
Yes,
The
yes.
crowds love him.
I don't get the crowd sometimes, but
I see it. I get Braun. I think he's just a big dude who throws things and people
and
like it. It's just he's just a monster.
and buried Roman Reigns.
And buried Roman Reigns. That is true.
So I I don't think there's anything much more to say about this match, and I'm interested to see who Braun gets paired with going forward and how that goes, but not really holding my breath.
Yeah, honestly. I hope he holds it for a while. I think this belt came onto him way too late. I think he should have gotten this. I think he should have gotten it maybe 6 to 9 months ago. I think he's always been a consistent part of the programming, and the fans love him, and his work is fine. He's not built to have to work super complicated matches. His role as a wrestler is pretty easy. But yeah, I'm excited to see where he takes it.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't love Braun, but I totally agree that he's deserved to have it. I think from the first crown jewel, that was about when I was
Yeah,
like, strap should be on Braun, and
he
it's up to
probably should have beat Brock.
yeah, I
I
think
think he
so.
probably should have beat Brock.
Does this seem to be the last of Goldberg we see?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he said that.
I hope so because I just don't know what else Goldberg has to offer. We've known since he wrestled, was it Jericho, all that time ago back in WCW, that like he can't really go more than 10
Oh,
minutes.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I mean, yeah, it's always been kind of known that Goldberg can't work long matches. And he's a spot. He's kind of just he does his stuff.
He's the car wreck. You need a car wreck occasionally. Like you understand it's going to happen quick, and you just want to see the high impact, and that's fine. But there are some younger guys who can do a little bit more and still have that same effect. Example A, Braun.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd really like to see Braun and Drew get some time to go at it.
I agree. I think they worked an angle or Drew was it was like Braun and he was feuding with like Ziggler and like somebody else and Drew, and they were kind of butting heads every once in a while, and their stuff was really good. So
Yeah.
I would hope to see them work in the future.
All right, so let's get to the main event, the whole enchilada of night one, the Boneyard match. We saw The Undertaker return to action against Alan Styles, and just really unique. It's not something we've seen too often in WWE. A pre-shot match, not really in the style of wrestling, more of just an action movie. And I thought this was really, really a great way to kind of bring back some of the aura of the Undertaker. We obviously know he's just a little bit limited just because of his age and his size and how long he's been working. Like someone like that, like you're just going to wear down. The last few times we've seen the Undertaker in the ring, it hasn't been great, and this was awesome.
Yeah, I thought this was super entertaining. AJ popping out of a coffin, I cackled. I thought it was so funny. And I thought I thought Undertaker overperformed, if that's even possible. Like even with the aura of being a legend, um, being in this circumstance when it's not a match, it's this sort of cinematic thing. I thought he played his role great. I thought the way he talked to AJ throughout the match was awesome, and I thought overall it was just super entertaining.
I thought so. I was able to listen to a podcast, the Masked Man podcast with The Ringer, and they had on their director of video content to kind of talk about the match because they wanted to talk about it from a cinematic thing. And he was able to point out some stuff that I've heard of but don't really notice often. That he was saying some of the like tracking shots with the camera, the way that the druids and the OC were kind of backlit. He's like, it's just a high level of production value that you don't usually get out of WWE. Like, I think WWE does really great things, like their packages leading into matches are great, like their WWE 24, all that stuff. But sometimes the camera work is just weird, and like you understand it's shot live. This was just a different feel, and it felt so much elevated, and I'm so happy that they were able to elevate it at WrestleMania, because that was a package worthy of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I think AJ played his role super well too. I think everyone, and even though I think everyone did their role super well. Also, just a great nostalgia trip to see Biker Taker and to see Dead Man Taker and all the stuff and all those good spots, and the mannequin hand with AJ's glove on it. I thought it was all pretty good. I wish they had two. I wish they had two hands, two mannequin hands, and it was just like
nice
with the gloves. That would have been better.
Braun just walks onto the set, just yells, "Get these hands," and pulls them out. Really, that's how you really kill a moment at WrestleMania. You got to see Taker teleport. You kind of got to work in the mystique. I gotta say though, the lasting impression from this match for me, and this is a me thing, but the spots on top of the hearse, seeing both of them, I was just like, oh my god, please get your feet set. Those things are slick. It is nighttime. I'm sure that it's humid. It's probably. I'm just like, oh my gosh. You can't let Taker tumble off of a hearse. We can't. This can't be how it ends.
Yeah, luckily, since it's pre-recorded, I just assume they're taking safety precautions. Hopefully, because you can do those and not have to worry about crowds seeing you pulling out a crash pad. But I was also mildly worried about Taker's age catching up to him.
Well, I just thought everything was perfect here. I loved the forearm into the window spot where it bloodied Taker's arm, and then later when they're on top of like the shed thing, and there's just a quick cut to like you see that Taker's arm's not bleeding anymore, but you can see the cuts and stuff. The attention to details, everything. Whoever put that together, just a fantastic job of making sure everything was all moving in the same direction. It flowed well. It didn't go on too long. I thought too, which is sometimes like once the newness of it wears off, sometimes you can be like, okay, this is dragging. I thought the pacing was perfect. Just a testament to everyone involved here, from the production crew to the producers. I don't know who was producing the match, but great job top to bottom.
Yeah, I thought it ran a little long, but it definitely beat my expectations. I was actually a little nervous. I thought it was going to be a little stupid, but I actually did. It was very good.
I think too that I kind of want to go down this road though. So let's say that WrestleMania, we're under normal circumstances. It's in front of 80,000 people. I think that this and Firefly Funhouse absolutely bomb, because I think that there's just a certain backlash to the people paying all that money to be in the stadium for WrestleMania, and then the action just happening on a jumbotron, and then you kind of feel that lurch once you go onto Reddit, once you go onto Twitter. You see the people complaining from inside the stadium. Even if they cut like the crowd mic, you just kind of get this like bad taste about it. And I think that because the final deletion with Matt Hardy was so heralded, not a knock on him, but the promotion they're running in, it's not like they're drawing 80,000 people into a stadium that if you put a match on a video board, you're disappointing. Like, most of their content is consumed through TV and things. And so I think that it worked for them. And that's why I think that Bray's first few forays into trying to have that similar thing had failed in WWE. And I think that this was a platform to show the audience this is what it can be. And maybe from now on, people in stadium will be a little bit more receptive to these types of events.
Yeah, I think this was actually a pretty good experimentation if they wanted to do stuff like this going forward. And I think since the overall response has been positive, I think that maybe people will be a little more warmed up to the idea of doing these cinematic type stuff, as long as WWE does not, as long as it's promoted appropriately. None of this promoting that, Goldberg's going to be on SmackDown and he's on Satellite on the Jumbotron. Like, that's messed up. You shouldn't do that. So as long as they take matches like this and promote them as cinematic stuff in whatever way, WWE will whatever they'll say, whatever buzzword or buzz phrase they'll use to make you think, okay, this will be pre-recorded, then I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, and it's really going to help that The Undertaker and AJ Styles' names are on something like this. That, hey, The Undertaker was good enough for this. You guys loved him in it. Let some of the other talent have a shot. We've shown you how it can be. And it was something special for a WrestleMania that is special. No fans there. So it made me feel different from a normal wrestling show or normal WrestleMania. And it's something that I'll remember forever as WrestleMania 36. So I think that mission accomplished there.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is something that they'll be doing more often at future WrestleManias.
So now we flip over to night 2, and we can just run down some of these. Night 2, I felt like the match was either great or, yeah, that was like a TV match, cool. Like, I felt like there was no in between of just good matches or whatever. It was either just really good or really flat.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I thought, yeah, there were some matches that were really good, but most of the matches either, I don't know. I don't actually know how I feel about day 2. I'm still kind of going back and forth on it because there are some matches, like I finished watching and I look at them, or I remember watching them then and I had a feeling about it, and then I look at my list, I look at my notes now, and now I'm kind of feeling different. Because and we'll get into it once we do run down the matches, but overall I do think day 2 was good. I think the way the show closed was really, really good as well.
Yep, so let's roll straight into it. Liv Morgan and Natalya, that was our kickoff match for this night. And I think I've been a proponent that Liv Morgan is an underrated worker. I think that she just wasn't given the same opportunities as a part of the Riot Squad, which is fine because that was Ruby Riot's, show to run basically. But I'm happy that she was able at WrestleMania to have a match where maybe some people said, hey, this chick can actually work a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. She's always been someone with high potential. It looked like Sarah Logan kind of got the push instead, which I never really got. I thought Sarah Logan was not very good in the ring, to be honest. I think she's a lot better now, but when she first started, you could tell she was very green and she was missing a lot of stuff. And I thought Liv Morgan's character work is really good. When she puts on, when she goes into her character, it's believable. And it's compelling, and I'm excited to see if they give her more time going forward.
I think she's earned it after touching the mess of a storyline that is Lashley and Lana.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Like anyone that gets thrown
So
into that, I just feel terrible. I feel terrible for Lashley. The dude can't catch a break with the story. We'll get to it in a minute. I don't want to skip ahead, but ditto to everything you said about Liv. She's always been someone that I've always thought she and like Alexa Bliss have that thing about them that you could tell that they can be really inviting as a face and they can be really bitchy and believable as a heel. I think that they can work both ways, not really have to do a ton of tweaking and just accentuate a little bit of either way. I think that's really like redeeming because you have some people that stick out. Like Apollo Crews is the one for me that like sticks out where I'm just like, I look at his character, I'm like, how are you ever going to make that work as a heel, bro? Like the only pro you've got is to go on this huge losing streak and to get frustrated. But then you have to do so much work. I hate those storylines because you have to do so much work to rebuild faith with the fans after you go on that huge losing streak to be like, okay, yeah, I'm different now, but you have to just start winning a bunch of matches. And in the era of 50-50 booking, it's just hard. And
Yeah.
so I just really like that Liv has a character that can work both ways. And I'm just excited. There's a lot of potential in this women's division to have a lot of stories going a lot of different ways. And it makes me excited because honestly, some of the guys that some of the stuff the men are doing, it's stale. Like I'm tired of Elias and Corbin, that stuff. So if Liv Morgan could get into an interesting storyline and take some of Elias and Corbin's TV time, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I completely agree. A lot of the men's matches are getting just recycled, and we're seeing a lot of rotations. Storylines are getting repetitive or just readable. You know how the shuffling of the card's going to go. You know who's moving up. You know who's going down. But I think the women's division is pretty wide open when it comes to potential, especially when you have this on fire NXT women's division. Like they do not miss in that division. There are tons of good workers there that are only going to be coming up and taking up more time.
And we saw that Bianca Belair Monday night was made a full-time member of Raw, and as one goes up, another goes down. Charlotte Flair, your new NXT Women's Champion again. She defeats Rhea Ripley, and I was shocked by this result, dude. Like, I know that
Yeah, I
Charlotte
was too.
is incredible, and you don't necessarily want to feed her an L to anyone, but I thought that this was a great chance going into the Wednesday Night Wars to kind of cement, like, hey, Ripley is on the same level as Charlotte. You had the 4 horsewomen come through, and this is a chance to tell the story of, like, we have this second wave that is just as good, if not better, and you could have kind of had that tension where you could still bring women back from Monday and Friday Night SmackDown to NXT on Wednesdays to draw some ratings. You have this storyline that you can kind of bump. And I thought it'd be just great for some of the NXT women to be able to kind of rub elbows with the girls that have been doing it for so long on the main roster. And they're going the same route, just a very different way, with Charlotte just taking the strap and saying, screw it, welcome back to NXT.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I get putting the strap on Charlotte. She's incredible, but great worker, very recognizable. So putting her on Wednesday nights is only going to help the show. It definitely felt like her character was kind of in this free fall on the main roster. I felt like after losing to Becky, there really wasn't much left for her to do, because she can't really work with Sasha again because Sasha is is doing the Bayley stuff. But I mean, I'm sure she's just fiending to work with this really good raw talent in NXT. But on top of that, I absolutely hated this match. It frustrated me. I really didn't like it. I'm trying to go through my notes. So during the match, Charlotte works over Rhea's knee, and Ripley just never sells this knee. Like, she just hardly sells it, and it's to the point where like Charlotte goes for a backdrop suplex on Rhea, and Rhea lands on her feet and no sells. And it's like, I feel like the commentators want to comment on the hurt knee, but Rhea isn't selling it, so they can't come in with it, and it's making the match look silly. Like, there was a time, Charlotte starts climbing to the top rope. Riley kicks her, and then hits her with an electric chair on a hurt knee. And then she goes into a submission, and the submission she goes into is a standing cloverleaf. Like, It's ridiculous. Like, this, I'm not even kidding. Like, Elias and Baron Corbin had better storytelling than this match, and it really messed with me. Maybe I'm just, like, super tunneled in on this. Maybe the work was really good, but I just couldn't get over the fact that Rhea wasn't selling her knee throughout the entire match, and it made it hard for me to get invested.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be completely honest, I didn't really notice that a ton. I was just kind of in awe at seeing, it's not often that you see two just incredibly powerful women like this in the same ring, because there just aren't that many of them, you know? So I was kind of in awe of that, but when you bring that up, it makes total sense. I can completely get it, and I'm sure that, like, as soon as we get done here, I'm going to go watch it back and probably, like, hate it. So thanks for ruining it.
And I'm not even saying, it may not even be Rhea's fault. Like, I don't know how the infrastructure works. I don't know who tells who what body parts getting worked. Like, Rhea's knee should just have never gotten worked. Like, obviously her whole arsenal is her being up on her feet and she throws kicks. Like, her knee shouldn't be focused. You work the arm, work something, work the neck. Like, I don't know. I just don't know why the knee had to be worked. I guess it makes sense because Charlotte's got the figure 4, so maybe that's why. But I just feel like, I don't know. It made it hard for me to get invested. But I mean, I don't think Rhea is bad. Like, I don't think she's a bad worker because of it. I think she's still amazing. I think she is still more than deserving of the spot she currently has in the card. And Charlotte's work was amazing, as always. Her heel work was fantastic. Rhea Ripley was doing her entrance, and Charlotte literally didn't even look at her because her heel work is just that good. And yeah, Charlotte's amazing. I can't say enough about how great she is.
Absolutely. I am excited to go back and watch through this match and kind of see if and not that I'm going to go from I didn't. It wasn't a match that I like loved to start with. I thought it was pretty good, and like I said, I was just in awe of. It's just not often that you get two women that are that big, that strong, can move like they can, and I wonder if going forward, if that's something that they kind of hone in on is, hey, if you guys work again, we need to be careful of this, or if it's just two people that may not have total great chemistry because for what Charlotte needs to work is diametrically opposed to what Rhea needs to look great. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's possible to do that match and work over Rhea's knee. She just has to sell it better. Like, she just has to sell it. Also, not to mention, when she did sell the knee, she sold it like death. Like, she sold it so bad. Like, she was screaming bloody murder. And then she's doing top rope kicks and electric chairs and, like, enziguris. And it's like, okay, I don't know. It's just, if she just sold it a little more consistently, I think the match would have been amazing.
Fair. So, all right, the next one, your designated restroom break. Aleister Black, Bobby Lashley, Lana around ringside. Black was fine. It was a TV match. Bobby Lashley can't catch a freaking decent storyline, and I hated it.
Yeah. If you had to guess how old Bobby Lashley is, what would you guess? My first note in my notes is his age, because I guess I Googled it while I was watching.
Okay, so this is probably going to be cheap. I know that he's older than he looks because I remember him being around for so long. But
Yeah,
if I were to come in for now, I'd say he looks like he's 25 or 26, but I think he's like mid-30s. That's what it feels like.
Bobby Lashley is 43 years old.
Holy crap.
Bobby Lashley is so big and so, like, his body is still amazing. And he's 43. He's older than AJ Styles. Like, I can't believe this guy's still going. I bet he works for another 10 years. This guy looks so good.
I love him, man. He just can't catch a storyline, bro. I get he's not super dynamic on the mic. I get it. There are things that you can do without making him Lana's love lackey, and then Lana costs him the match, even though I thought it was a not super compelling Lana costing him the match. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care to see how this breaks up. Yeah. I hope Aleister Black gets into better stuff. I hope that Lashley gets into better stuff. And I hope that Lana goes to the Corbin and Elias feud so that we can just get one segment of all of them together and then we're done for the whole night.
I wouldn't be opposed to that, honestly. I think the rumor mill is saying that Rusev is moving on. And I'm wondering if that's the case, if they're just going to move Lana on with him.
Well, I think she signed a new deal.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been following, so I mean, if that's the case, then I don't know where they're going with her.
Let me look real quick. I'm pretty sure that I read somewhere that Lana signed a new deal. This is great podcasting right here.
I mean, I don't know who they put her with.
Yeah, this claims that she signed a multi-year deal in November.
Okay.
A new 5-year agreement.
5 years for Lana? What are they going to do with her? Should put her with Gronk.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd be down.
I just don't know if that was. Do you think they tried to lock Lana up to be like, "Hey, Rusev, your wife's here"? Like,
maybe.
I don't know. Anyway, Rusev will do good in AEW.
He will.
Okay, let's move on. Otis and Ziggler. This was art. This was
my favorite match of WrestleMania by a lot. I thought this match was awesome.
Not even mad.
Yeah, this is a great. This match was awesome.
The character work by everyone involved. I have been hurt by Dolph too many times to trust him. I love Dolph, and I've just always been disappointed. I don't think it's necessarily Dolph's fault, but he just never gets it done. So in this match, I'm just like, oh God, oh God, oh God. This was incredible. Sonya was great. Dolph was great. Otis is incredible. Mandy was great. Kudos to everyone involved.
I think this should be looked at as your rubric for a WrestleMania build and payoff. Because I think it wasn't amazing. It wasn't like the biggest build ever. Like, it's a pretty common storyline we've seen, but it was executed the way it should have been, and the payoff was good and what it should have been. And I think that's what made it so good.
I think the storyline too, it can't be understated enough how well paced the storyline was. Months ago, you start seeing a little bit of Otis and Mandy kind of sharing the screen briefly in little backstage stuff. Then we kind of see that Otis is kind of developing a little bit of crush. Then we see that Mandy's a little flattered. Then there's the date. Then there's the twist and the turns. Every week, then it really started to heat up, and they brought in a new storyline. Dolph's now in it. Oh my God, it's Sonya. All this stuff. It was incredible. I loved it. This is a testament to what can happen when creative goes right. And
Yeah.
it just makes me set. Like, I understand that you can't produce 6 of these a show for every pay-per-view. Like, it just can't be done because it'll get old. But this was just out of the park. This is one of my favorite storylines of the last few years in all of wrestling, honestly.
Yeah,
And
me too.
I'm so intrigued where it goes from here. It left me, what are Sonya's motivations? Are they going to go with, she's my best friend, I don't like Otis, I don't want to see him that? Are they going to lean into Sonya's real life persona of having the LGBTQ background? Are they going to lean into that and bring that into a WWE storyline?
Oh, I hope not.
And I think that if they did, though, this is one of the more tasteful ways they've ever done it, of just her having a little bit of a crush. If that happens, like, I feel like it's one of the more, it's fine. I'm okay with that. Like, but it just has so much depth. It leaves me, it's something you talked about earlier. A lot of the times you can see how the cards are being reshuffled. Here, every time it happens, I'm just like, what is happening? What is going on? And it just, I can't wait. Can't wait.
I can't wait either. I think if they leaned into the if Sonya had a crush on Mandy thing, I don't know if it would. I mean, it definitely would be the least tasteful thing they've ever done, but I don't think it would feel very. I feel like it would feel kind of ham-fisted. I don't know if it would feel super smooth to me. I'm hoping this leads to eventually Mandy helping them get the belts. Because honestly, Heavy Machinery should have been tag champions like months ago.
Yeah.
They're insanely hot. They're very good. Their character works good. Their work is fine. And then eventually Mandy can turn heel, which I think Mandy naturally is better at anyway. And
Absolutely.
if you want me to boo you, if you want me to boo you, hurt Otis because I love him. And if you hurt Otis, I will boo you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So I can't say enough good things about this. Absolutely love this. And
even little things in this match were still really good.
Absolutely. I thought
Like,
Dolph was fantastic the whole way.
Yeah, he was really good for like I kind of thought he was gonna phone it in because he's just working with Otis in a love triangle match, but like he took a catapult, or yeah, he took a or it was kind of like a slingshot where typically you get launched into the turnbuckles. He took it from the center ring and jumped far enough to hit the middle turnbuckle. Like his selling is on that level.
Yes.
Also, Otis, when he came out, he didn't hit his pose. He didn't hype himself up. He went straight to the ring and tried to start beating on Dolph, which is what you should do in a blood feud, which I think doesn't happen enough. And I thought that was super sick and was not expecting that from Otis, who's a tag guy. Also, JBL just hating Otis was so good. I love JBL, just absolutely just disgusting. It was disgusted by Otis. Said that this was like National Geographic. It was so funny.
Well, and I thought too that, to your point, Sonya and Dolph coming out together and looking like they had been in cahoots the whole time, being on the exact same page, hitting the poses, hitting all the marks. I thought it just really sells home the point that they've been behind the scenes, scheming, and the whole thing from start to finish was amazing. All the way up to we get the big moment. This is the only time in night 2 that I was really, really in the moment thinking, God, I wish there were 80,000 people, because I wanted to hear the pop when Otis and Mandy finally got to kiss. Like that was the only time all evening. Well, okay, there was another time, which we'll get to here in a second. But the first time all evening that I was just like, I want 80,000 people right now.
Yeah, I think that pop would have been so good.
Yes, absolutely. But leading into the second moment that I really, really wish there were 80,000 people, and this will come as no shock to you, Major. The people at home don't know this, but I'm a very simple man. The lights go out. you hear the words, "You think you know me," and you hear bah, 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 bah. You see Edge's graphic on the Titantron. The hairs on my arms are standing at attention. I am like fighting back tears. I'm ready to come on my seat, and that was the only other moment that I wanted to be like, I want to give Edge another large pop for his return to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I also missed that. I wish
But
we could have seen it.
yeah, Edge and Orton, last man standing match. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Really?
Did it go a little bit long? Probably. But Edge one-on-one at WrestleMania, don't care. Give it to me.
Yeah, you're not. I really, really did not like this match. I thought this is the second longest match in WrestleMania history. It was slow. It was really slow.
Yes, it was.
I wasn't a huge fan of the brawling back and forth. I thought the character work was really good. I thought Edge and Orton played really great character. I thought that the way they talked to each other was very believable and very good. Edge crying at the end of the match was super emotional, and I thought was also very good. But bell to bell, I was pretty meh. I didn't hate it. I wouldn't say that it was like my least favorite match. It wasn't even my least favorite match of the night. I just thought it was kind of long.
Look, this is the most creative tour of the Performance Center that we've gotten to date.
I mean, that is true. I've always wanted to know what the PAC looks like.
Well, boom, baby, you've got
There
it.
it is. It only took 36 minutes.
There's fencing on the ceilings in the conference room for one of the more creative elbow drops we've ever gotten.
Yeah, seriously. I felt bad for Cole. Like, how do you make that call? Like, what do you say? Just like, oh, Edge just fell from the ceiling with an elbow drop. Like, I felt really bad for him in that moment.
In the moment, I was confused as what Edge was trying to do. I was like, is he going up there to try and jimmy the light to fall down on Orton? Like, that was my first thought. Was that
would have been sick. I would pop for that.
And I was just like, what is happening? I'm like, how do you have a rigged light like that that's gonna? And then he just like elbow drops. Just like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that was creative. But I was just like, happy to see Edge back. And this is probably, they could have gone out there and given anything, and I would have been in that mode. That's just still where I am. Like I texted you, I watched Edge's WWE 24 documentary, whatever they call it.
Yeah, 24/7.
I cried big boy tears. It's just one of those things that Edge is my favorite wrestler ever. He's the guy that got me into wrestling. He's helped me stay into wrestling at different times through his podcast, things like that. And so it was just good to see Edge back. I totally get that it was slow. Totally agree. Was it way too long? Absolutely. Give it to me again tomorrow, just because it's Edge back in a WWE ring at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I definitely, and I'm not knocking Orton or Edge. I love Edge just as much as the next guy. I'm excited to see, and the way he's talking makes it sound like he's going to be doing more and like a lot more. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see who's next for him to work with, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do in the future.
He's in the best shape of his life too, by far. I think.
Yes. What's my first note? My first note is Edge is looking jacked, baby.
Perfect.
That was my first note.
Did you see Edge and Beth's exchange on Twitter the day after? So Beth posts a screenshot of Edge at the top of the ladder about to jump off on Orton with the caption like, "I promise, honey, I'm not taking ladder spots anymore," or whatever. Then like Edge just quote retweets it and he's like, "Sorry?" Question mark.
Yeah, sorry.
So, and this is my last plug for this. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch the WWE 24. Really emotional moment when just the camera was on the right spot for telling Edge's story back. They have the shot of not only Edge making his re-debut at the Rumble, but the second that his music hits and the insane pop, you can hear it from Gorilla, which will just send goosebumps down your spine. But they also have the video of Beth as the pop happens and she sees Edge making his way back down the ramp into the ring. And she's just in tears, and it's hard not to be super emotional for one of the most well-liked guys in WWE history. So that's my last little bit on that. Sorry, guys. I'll get off my soapbox now. Apologies. On to the tag title match. The Street Profits.
Well, you know what happens before this?
Oh, yeah, go for it. Yes. The biggest moment in 24/7 title history.
The biggest title change in WrestleMania history, Rob Gronkowski pins Mojo Rawley for the 24/7 championship, which was so I popped. I was so excited. Anyway,
Friend
back to
betrays
the tag
friend.
match.
Storylines. Tag match was fine. Street Profits, Austin Theory, Angel Garza. Hard to get super invested, seeing as Austin Theory was given a name 2 weeks ago. It seemed like. Now we're just like, oh, this dude's holding down a tag title match at WrestleMania because roster. But
because Andrade's hurt.
it was fine. I really like the Street Profits.
I do too. I think they're amazing.
Gotten a chance to meet them. They were really cool. It's one of the highlights of my last year working in media. But this match, it was fine.
Yeah, I think for what they had, I think this was fine. I thought the work was better than I expected, even though, and I already had decent expectations. Garza is, I want to say he's well traveled. I think he worked indies for a while. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like he wrestled in Mexico quite a bit, so he knows what he's doing. I don't know much about Austin Theory, but Street Profits are really, really good. I think they've definitely nailed down their stuff. I think they know exactly what they need to do to get themselves over, and they do it every time. And I think they're uber talented.
Yeah, and this was the first time we got to see Bianca Belair really come together with her husband, Street Profits. Obviously, the next night we learned she's a full-time member of Raw. I'm a huge Bianca Belair person. Really love the Street Profits. So great on all accounts there. As far like I said, it was just hard to get super invested in the match. The match was fine. It was just hard to get invested knowing that the build kind of fell apart just due to injury and circumstance. So
I think my only problem is if you didn't know Belair was married to Montez Ford, you have no idea what she's doing out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's it just doesn't make a lot of sense, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I think putting her with Street Profits is perfectly fine. I think they're gonna work really well together.
Yeah, for sure. And going forward, gave them a nice little WrestleMania moment. So that's cool for them as a family to have that. But yeah, it was fine. Okay, let's move on. This is a match that I hated. I hated. It's the 5-way match.
Okay.
Bayley, Naomi, Sasha, Tamina, and Lacey Evans. I thought this match was a cluster for most of it. A lot of the decisions that were made by the characters, I don't know if it was creative's call. I don't know if it was their call. I don't think it made a ton of sense. But let's run through it real quick. 5-way match, elimination match. Tamina goes out first. Then I believe it was Sasha Banks eliminates Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a little bit of confusion as Lacey Evans ducks out of the way and Bayley hits Sasha. And then Lacey hits Sasha with the woman's right to eliminate her. Then you're left with Lacey and Bayley. Sasha gets back in the ring, hits her with was it a backstabber?
Yeah, hit her with a backstabber.
Yeah, Sasha
Bayley hit her thing.
Yeah, and then Bayley wins. So Bayley wins, and first off, I don't get Naomi. I don't think she's great. I think she's very athletic.
I think she's fine.
She's very athletic.
She is.
That's all I've got on.
Yeah. She's a solid mid card.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever put the strap on her, but she's a good hand.
I just don't know why her and Tamina were in this match. I don't get it. I don't know why it was a 5-way match.
Well, it was a 6-way, but
yeah,
they had to take it down.
Yeah,
to 5.
So from the start, I'm just annoyed. And then I thought Tamina was fine, actually, for as much as I don't think she –
No, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how well she was moving. I was like, what? You haven't worked a match in forever. How are you this good? It is pre-recorded. It is taped. But, I thought Tamina looks great.
So props to her, but just everything else, I was just like, yeah. And then I've got – see if you can walk me through this.
All right.
I don't understand Sasha. How her character handled this. I get she's happy for her friend. Cool. I get that she understands in the moment that this was a mistake of Bayley hitting her. She comes back to help her friend. But I've seen people have tried to make the case that it's keep your friends close, your enemies closer. She's keeping an eye on Bayley by staying close to her. But just to come back into the ring and basically be like, Like, even after she hit the move to let Bailey win, be like, it's your moment, go. And then, like, not do anything. Like, I just felt like that was not something fitting of WrestleMania. You know, like,
this is the opposite of a payoff.
This is the one instance where I'm cool with you turning around and turning on your friend at WrestleMania and us seeing another 3 months of you working each other. And here I was just like, now I'm just like, Sasha's character, does she care about winning? Because, like, her whole thing was she's the boss, she runs the place. Well, has she had a successful title defense? I don't think she has. Now she's just taking title losses, laying down. She's like, yeah, I'm happy for my friend. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense for what she's built up her entire time.
When they were Sasha or Dasha was giving when Dasha was giving Sasha a backstage interview, she said, how invested are you? Or she was something like, do you genuinely want to win this match? And Sasha goes, I guess we'll just all have to wait and see. And I was like, well, now I want to see the match. I'm sold. This is a great build.
You sold me. And this is where I've always liked Sasha. I think she's one of the more criticized of the 4 horsewomen. And here I have no defense for her. I'm like, the match was fine, but like I don't get it.
Yeah, I think the only way any of this makes sense is Sasha has to come out on Friday and be like, I helped you win the title. You owe me a title match. Like, that's the only thing that's the only thing this can make logical sense. I think, without it just getting super, what's probably going to happen is they're going to go back to being a team, and the booking's just going to forget that Sasha did all this, and we're just going to go back to same old.
Or we'll have another month of tension, and the payoff will be at Money in the Bank. And I'm just like, you have WrestleMania. You've built the storyline to WrestleMania, then you didn't pay it off. Why build it?
Yeah.
Like, why? Sasha could have been off doing other things.
I wish she was doing other things.
Sasha could be off working through this huge crop of NXT talent. I'd much rather her be like,
oh my gosh, yes.
Like, if she wasn't a part of the storyline, she was the only person not doing anything. Why not let her lead the charge of, hey, Wednesday Night Wars? Let her try to be Triple H and Shawn Michaels and say, F you AEW, we're going to go head to head. I'm going to come in and run this place. And like, I know what it takes to build a promotion, but something like that. I would much rather see her be the boss like that than play second fiddle to Bailey and then not stand up for herself in the end.
Yeah. And on top of, also just another thing, Bailey is awful as a heel. Like, I don't believe anything she does as a heel. I think the things she, like, when she cuts heel promos, it's not believable. It's either cheesy or falls flat. Like,
her moveset's awful.
Her moveset's bad. Like, yeah, her moveset is bad. It just it makes me feel really bad because Bailey used to be one of my favorites, and now this new character just isn't very good. And this character also has the belt, which is also not very good.
Nothing says grueling heel like the Bailey to belly.
Yeah. Or what is her finish? What is it? Like, I don't know. Does it have a name?
I don't know. Like, that's how invested I am in Bailey's character right now. That, like, when she's on the screen, I'm just like, no thanks.
I'm pretty sure my note literally says Bailey hits Evans with her thing and gets the pin.
And real quick on Evans, I thought Lacey Evans was outstanding.
Yeah, I thought she was pretty good. I really don't like her selling, but I think it's more of a me thing. Like, I think, like, she sells the way she is supposed to. I just think the way she does it just annoys me. So it's hard to get behind her as a babyface because of that. But I think I'm just irritable. I think it's her fault.
I think the name "The Women's Right" is one of the all-time great finishers.
Yeah, I think it's a good name.
I love it, but I like Lacey Evans. I've been waiting for it to click for her, and I felt like it finally kind of like clicked in a big way.
Yeah, I think so too.
You can see she has all the tools. I've just been waiting for her to put it together in a big moment, and I thought that big time for her, even though the match was kind of chaotic. I think it settled down once it just got to Sasha, Bailey, and Lacey, which I guess that makes sense when you remove.
It's what it should have been.
2/5,
honestly.
But yeah, it should have just done that, and Sasha should have just inserted herself in it somehow, and then
just play around the friend dynamic, which they've done before. I don't see why this was different.
But
I don't know.
Anyway, okay, now on to not the main event, but probably the most impactful package we've had yet from The Fiend. And before we do anything else, we have to make just one quick change, real fast. All right, now we are ready to speak of the Firefly Funhouse match. Let him in. He's here. Major, what were your thoughts on this? I loved it.
Oh, it was awesome. It was fantastic. I I going in, I didn't know what to expect. And this was so good. Like everything from top to bottom. Bray mimicking um promos that people would cut. The blurring of lines between kayfabe and reality, drawing lines between Hogan and Cena and their egos, I thought was super good, and I was not expecting it. Yeah, I just saw it. I was thoroughly impressed. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, a few of the notes that I took from this, people were wondering if the SmackDown Fist would be brought back for the new set. It was not. Guess what? We found out where it was. It was in the 10th dimension of wherever the hell they were for wherever John Cena's residing now. That's where the SmackDown Fist also is.
I put that in my notes in all caps. When Bullet is just SmackDown Fist.
Yes, I have the
I was
fist,
so excited.
and then I had LOL the prototype. Just the who thought this would work? Ruthless aggression. Who thought this would work?
Yeah, I thought Cena, the ruthless aggression thing, and Wyatt just dodging every single punch, I thought was so good. And yeah, I love this. I love this whole thing.
Johnny Large Meat. I need merch for Johnny Large Meat. Like, I need it in my life. I think an underrated part of this is I thought that. So I know that this was the point, but Thugonomics Cena coming back, and Bray just basically like, you're going to say your burns, and then we're going to cut to me, and we're going to give crickets, basically saying, like, you're just bullying people. Valid. Kind of absolutely draws the parallel to Cena having the reputation for burying people over and over and over. But also, it's a pretty good burns. Some pretty funny lines.
Yeah.
You're a slut for opportunity, and you're blowing every chance. That was incredible. Like,
and that's what Cena's good at. Cena's really good at cutting scathing promos that really hurt. That he cuts promos that makes the heels or whoever he's up against look weak.
Yeah,
and look, it takes away their credibility, which is, I mean, there's a reason why you don't do that. But the way Cena always delivers it seems to always be in a good way.
Yeah, I think the only nitpick I would have put, because I thought this was almost terrible, or not terrible, almost perfect. The only nitpick I would have put is that you were able to draw the parallel between Cena and Hogan. And he was able to, the exclamation point is Cena's own words in earlier promos of this feud coming back to haunt him, finishing what, you should have done 6 years ago for the most overhyped, whatever, superstar, great. But I just think that it was set up perfectly, too, that you could have brought in also Cena's feud with The Rock. During that time, The Rock had come back. He was in the height of his Hollywood fame. I'm really starting to reach the front end of his like apex that he's been in the last few years. This is right when The Rock had gone to work on Fast and Furious movies. So I'm sure that there's a promo in there somewhere that he could have used, because what is Cena's next role? He's playing Vin Diesel's brother in the next Fast and Furious movie.
Oh, so, yeah.
I don't know if because they blurred the lines. I don't know if that was just deemed as too obvious blurring. But you're already using the behind-the-scenes footage of Cena with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, all this stuff, Cena on the red carpet in Hollywood. I think it was just there for the taking to not only say, like, hey, everything you said that was wrong with The Rock, you're doing it right now. And also you slam Hulk Hogan for just being ego-driven and all that, and left him off like that. That was my only thing that I felt like it was just a very easy thing to drop in there. But otherwise, masterfully woven, perfectly done.
Yeah, I can't say more good things about this match or whatever you would call this. This was a shock in a good way. And the only thing is, I don't know where Bray is going to go from here, because I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can top this.
I don't know where either of them are going from here, honestly.
I don't know if Cena's going to do anything else after this. I think he might just go do movies.
If this is Cena's retirement, I think that, like, because I can't imagine anything else. I just really wish we get to see one heel Cena run. I don't know how you bring a character back from this.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they bring Cena back,
but
to be honest.
If this is it for Cena, do you have any regrets here? I personally, like, I love John Cena. I really wanted to see him get that one last title run to take the record. but other than that, like it's hard to have any regrets. I would like to see a heel run with the strap would have been clicked all the boxes. You could have given me 6 months, and I would have been happy.
Yeah, I don't see him taking the record as long as Ric Flair is alive.
Gotcha. That
I
makes
think
sense.
I think maybe after Flair passes, if he does, Flair might honestly be immortal.
I was about to say, so in 30 years,
Yeah, honestly, by the time Flair passes, Cena may not even be in condition to work. So, but I think if that comes, then I think maybe we see Cena take it. And honestly, he probably should, but I don't know. There's a lot. I don't know. I mean, if this is it, if this was the last thing we see of John Cena, as long as it comes to in-ring work, um, I think this is fine. I think this is a perfectly good way to end it, and I think it puts over Bray, who needs it. To be
yeah,
honest, he's been working awful matches, and he needed something like this to kind of get his shine back to keep moving forward.
I just the struggle with the Fiend is it's so hard to put the Fiend in a wrestling scenario because the Fiend is not a worldly character. The Fiend is not motivated by being the champion. So uh, some of the guys that have succeeded like that, Undertaker and Kane, kind of having that mystique, they also were like legends for a decade before that, where it's almost like you've accomplished everything. So they don't necessarily have to be motivated by a championship because now it's
Mm-hmm.
people coming after them, people coming after Undertaker Street, people wanting to prove themselves. And they're like, those two guys are the biggest and the baddest people here. If I beat them, people will respect me. And so they don't have to have a motivation. The Fiend, it's just he's not a wrestling character, which makes it hard to see how he fits in the scope of the card. But
Yeah.
I like the stuff, so keep it coming. But first, I must figure out a way out of this dimension here. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Cool. Just in time for the main event, we have your client, Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. This was I've been very critical of Brock. I've been bored by Brock. I thought this is some of Brock's best work. Everything from the similar story of him getting frustrated and losing focus after he doesn't like immediately get his way and that costing him, to Brock laying in the ring forever, letting Drew celebrate around him, just selling as
Yeah.
WrestleMania closes. All of it. I thought this is some of Brock's best work, and I just wish we saw the side of him a little more. But I get that him being the Beast, you don't get that as much.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about this match because it was like 5 minutes, and I think if I had to guess the layout of this match, I don't think it would have been too far from what actually happened. Um, it was pretty. You could probably expect what it was going to be. It was going to be it was going to be a Heyman booked match where it's just finish after finish. I thought the celebration was awesome. I thought Drew's emotional moment, breaking the fourth wall, was super needed and super good. I'm glad he did it. And also just a deserving champion. He's worked very hard and is also very good, which is most importantly, he's a very good worker. And I'm excited to see who he's going to like defend against because I think he might hold this title for a bit.
I hope so. I really hope we get to the point where we have fans again, so that Drew's first time back into the ring since winning the title, they can kind of shower him. Like I know that he's supposed to be a heel, um, it, but the fan
I think he's
support.
turned. I think he's turned a little bit.
Yeah, I think that it's opened up enough that the fan support can shower him, and he deserves it because the way that he's worked all the way back through from 3MB to kind of having to go off on his own and find himself being brought back into the fold and not being treated as an afterthought, being given a chance once again to succeed. Kind of the redemption arc that it just doesn't happen until we see it with like Lashley. Like he's come back in and to no fault of his own, he's just kind of been, stuck in the mid card doing stuff like that. Like it's just not often that you get brought back in and given another legit shot. And I'm just really happy for him.
Yeah, I think this is going to look a lot. If I had to predict, I would say this is going to look a lot like Kingston's title run. Lengthwise, I'm hoping it doesn't end the same way Kofi's did. But I think this is going to be a very good run with the belt.
But yeah, so I guess that's everything. So you have what? Otis is your favorite match, followed by
Yes,
ladder match, and then Owens.
and then the Owens match,
Yeah,
and then the Gronk match.
gotta
I think
fit
is
in
number
Gronk.
4.
I think I'm
Yeah.
Firefly Funhouse. Then give me the ladder match, and then KO. Give me Edge and Orton because once again, God, give me Edge, and I'm a happy boy. We'll see if that wears off, and then I'll take the Boneyard match. But overall, I was pleased with this WrestleMania. It exceeded my expectations. I don't know if it's just being disappointed year after year at WrestleMania, or just the situation we were in, or just the perfect mix of all those. But I was not expecting much from this, and I was pleasantly surprised and sports entertained all through both parts.
Yeah, I think this WrestleMania was really weird for me. A lot of the matches I expected to be really good were either bad or not what I expected, and the things I thought that were going to be bad were actually quite good. So I don't know. I would say this WrestleMania reached my expectations. I wasn't blown away by the product, but I definitely enjoyed myself. I wasn't dreading finishing the show. I thought it was pretty good all around.
You think the 2-night format helped that out? Do we think if
I
this
do.
card was stacked all at once, we would come away the same way we had the last few WrestleManias?
No, I think if this match was stacked all in one day, I'd probably hate it. If I'm being completely honest, especially if day one was the front half, I would have definitely hated it. I think so because the second day was stacked.
Yeah. So I feel the same way. Major, this was a ton of fun. Always glad when we can just talk some wrestling.
I love talking wrestling.
Plug your YouTubes and your Twitters one more time for the people in the back.
Yeah, so if you like video games, me and my 3 friends have a YouTube channel called Friends Without Benefits. We post videos. Well, actually, right now we're doing live streams every day. We used to post videos, but due to circumstances, we cannot. But we've been doing streams every day, so come by and watch those. You can follow me at Major Duncan, where I stream at twitch.tv/FWOB_major. And I play games like I play just anything. I'm playing a lot of Call of Duty. So if you guys like Call of Duty, come watch my stream. It'll be sick. Come ask me wrestling questions, and I'll definitely talk wrestling with anybody who comes in my chat.
Yep, pop in with Major. He's a ton of fun, and who knows? Maybe occasionally, if you stroll by, you'll see him playing some Counter-Strike and see me bottom fragging. So, for the Sideline Warning podcast, again, we are here on YouTube. I am at Raiders Ryan on Twitter, Sideline W Pod on Twitter, SidelineWarningPod.com. Please go check out everything. Support us. We do a lot of work because we love sports. We have a passion for it. We want to share it with you all. We're so humbled that you stopped by for your support, and we hope you'll stick around. For Christine Butterfield, who is absent, for Major Duncan, I'm Ryan Chapman. Thank you, and we will see you next time.